Hello my dear students, you all are welcome to my geography class. Today I am here to discuss with you all about the topic conservation of biodiversity from the chapter Biodiversity and Conservation. Here we will be studying about the different strategies adopted for conserving the biodiversity actually. And this strategies has been adopted by different international organizations. So let us study about conservation of biodiversity. See, as we all know that biodiversity is important for human existence. Okay. All forms of life are so closely interlinked that disturbance in one gives rise to imbalance in the others. So basically biodiversity is very important for the existence of human life. Like it will be difficult for the humans to exist on this world if biological balance is not being maintained. So all the life forms are very closely interrelated to each other, like the plants, animals, microorganisms, the human beings and all. They all are closely interrelated. They all are dependent on each other. So if there is an imbalance in one of the species, then the other species are also going to get hampered. So it is very much essential to conserve all the species of organism actually. So if the species of the plants and the animals become endangered, they cause degradation in the environment, which may threaten human beings' own existence actually. So if the species of the plants and the animals they become endangered, endangered means if their population goes down to such a low level that they cannot, the population cannot increase, they may cause degradation in the environment, and in turn they will threaten the human's existence actually. So there is an urgent need to educate the people to adopt environment friendly practices and reorient the activities in such a way that our development is harmonious with other life forms and is sustainable. So it is very much essential for all the people. It is very much important to educate the people to adopt environment friendly practices so that we can adopt various new measures, we can adopt environmental friendly measures and all for protecting the different species of life forms which will help in the harmonious existence of all the life forms on the earth actually. So there is an increasing consciousness of the fact that such conservation with sustainable use is possible only with the involvement and cooperation of local communities and individuals. And it is very much true that in order to conserve the different species of organisms, the involvement of the local communities and the individuals are very much essential. And the local peoples or the individual must be conscious enough about the importance of conserving the biodiversity. For this, the development of institutional structures at the local level is very much necessary. The critical problem is not merely the conservation of species or the habitat, but the continuation of process of conservation. So the main problem is not about the conservation of species or the habitat, but the main problem is to continue the process of conservation, because it is very much essential to continue the process of conservation, because if we practice conservation techniques for few years and all, and again we stop it, so it will not help. Ultimately again like imbalance will start taking place. So it is very much essential to continue the process of conservation throughout the human life. The government of India, along with 155 other nations, have signed the Convention of Biodiversity at the Earth Summit, which was held at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, in the month of June in the year 1992. And this was the first international Earth Summit where many countries, where more than 155 nations they participated. And the main agenda of the meeting was environmental protection. So basically, the World Conservation Strategy has suggested the following steps for biodiversity conservation, and in this Earth Summit, various strategies were adopted for conserving the biodiversity. Like number one, effort should be made to preserve the species that are endangered. So first of all, we must take efforts to preserve the endangered species, means whose population has gone down, and if they are not protected or conserved, then they may get extincted. So first important thing is to preserve those endangered categories of animals. Okay. Next, prevention of extinction requires proper planning and management, and it is very much essential to prevent extinction of different species of organisms through better planning and management. Number 3, variety of the food crops, forage plants, okay, the timber trees, livestock, animals, and their wild relatives should be preserved properly, okay, so that they are protected and imbalance does not take place in the number of species actually. Okay. Number 4, each country should identify habitats of wild relatives and ensure their protection actually. So every country must identify the areas or the habitats of different species and ensure that they are protected in their habitat. Okay, because any kind of harm in their living condition or in the living system, okay, may hamper their existence. Habitats with species, okay, feed, breed, rest, and nurse their young should be safeguarded and protected. So basically, those habitat where the species of animals, okay, they feed their animals, okay, they rest, okay, those habitat must be protected actually. Okay, and finally, international trade in wild plants and animals should be regulated, because this is one of the main cause of loss of biodiversity. Okay, so if we ban international trade in wild plants and animals, then we can conserve different species of plants and animals to a large extent. Okay, in our country, in order to protect or in order to conserve the different species of plants and the animals, okay, various laws were implemented, various rules and regulations were introduced by the government. Okay, and one such is the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Okay, to preserve, protect, and propagate the variety of species within natural boundaries, the Government of India passed the Wildlife Protection Act in the year 1972, under which national parks and sanctuaries were established and biosphere reserves were declared. Okay, so in the year 1972, the Wildlife Protection Act was introduced in our country, and according to this Wildlife Protection Act, many national parks and wildlife sanctuaries were established in our nations, and many of them were considered as a biosphere reserve. Okay, even we can find different countries in the tropical region, okay, different countries located in the tropical region, they possess a huge diversity of species actually, and those areas or those countries are called as the mega diversity centers. Okay, because in the tropical region, the species, the biodiversity is very much rich. Okay, we find different species of different organisms. Okay, so there are some countries which are situated in the tropical region, they possess a large number of the wild world species diversity, and they are known as the mega diversity centers. And there are 12 such countries which are considered as mega diversity centers, such as Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Brazil, Democratic Republic of Congo, Madagascar, China, India, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Australia. Okay, these are the 12 countries which are considered as mega diversity centers. Why they are considered as mega diversity centers? Because these are the countries which are very rich in biodiversity, where we can find various species of living organisms, may it be the plants, animals, or the microorganisms. Okay, so this is the reason that they are considered as the mega diversity centers. Okay, so this is what about the conservation of biodiversity actually. Okay, so in order to maintain the ecological balance, okay, it is very much essential to conserve the living organisms of the earth actually. Okay, and in order to conserve them, we need to follow different strategies, we need to follow different steps actually. Okay, and some of the steps as discussed earlier were put forward by the international organization. Okay, but apart from this, we can also take certain other steps, such as avoiding deforestation, okay, to ban illegal hunting and killing of the animals. Okay, illegal trade of the animals must be banned, people living in the forest areas, they must be encouraged, okay, to protect the forest. Okay, they must be provided with alternate livelihood opportunities so that they does not cut the trees and all. Okay, so and thereby it will help in protecting the forest. Okay, so there are different steps actually which can be taken by the individuals or by group of individuals to protect the biodiversity actually. Okay. So this is what about the conservation of biodiversity. Okay, and this is one of the most important topic to discuss actually. Okay. So I hope you all are clear about this conservation of biodiversity. Okay. So thank you. Thank you my dear students.